This is the Gay Manifesto by Michael Swift, first published in Gay Community News, February 15th through the 21st in 1987. It is also reprinted in the Congressional Record. This is what it states. We shall sodomize your sons, emblems of your feeble masculinity, of your shallow dreams and vulgar lies. We shall seduce them in your schools, in your dormitories, in your gymnasiums, in your locker rooms, in your sports arenas, in your seminaries, in your youth groups, in your movie theater bathrooms, in your army bunkhouses, in your truck stops, in all your male clubs, in your House of Congress, whenever men are with men together. Your sons shall become our minions and do our biddings. They will be recast into our image. All laws banning homosexual activity will be revoked. Instead, legislation shall be passed which engenders love between men. All homosexuals stand together as brothers. We shall triumph only when we present a common face to the vicious heterosexual enemy. If you dare to cry faggot, it states, fairy, queer at us, we will stab you in your cowardly hearts and defile your dead, puny bodies. We will unmask the powerful homosexuals who masquerade as heterosexuals. You will be shocked and frightened when you find that your presidents and their sons, your industrialists, your senators, your mayors, your generals, your athletes, your film stars, your television personalities, your civic leaders, your priests, are not the safe, familiar heterosexual figures you assume them to be. We are everywhere. We have infiltrated your ranks. Be careful when you speak of homosexuals because we are always among you. We may be sitting across the desk from you. We may be sleeping in the same bed with you. All churches who condemn us will be closed. Our only gods are handsome young men. For us, too much is not enough. All males who insist on remaining stupidly heterosexual will be tried in homosexual courts of justice and will become invisible men. We shall rewrite history, history filled and debased with your heterosexual lies and distortions. We shall be victorious because we are filled with the ferocious bitterness of the oppressed who have been forced to play seemingly bit parts in your dumb heterosexual shows throughout the age. We too are capable of firing guns and manning the barricades of the ultimate revolution. Tremble, hetero swine, when we appear before you without our masks. Have you heard or read this article before? Why not?
Today's show is called What, Sodomite? And this is what this country has come to. It's a bootlicking society where you have to be like me in order to make money. See? And that's how they roll in Hollywood. And that's how they roll in any kind of job that's going to give you 6 figures or more. You got to be a part of the brotherhood. You got to be a part of the sisterhood. You got to be a fraternity sorority. Now remember, next month, it's July. All the big-time constituents of Black Entertainment will meet in Atlanta. Man, it's going to be some freaky things going on in that month. They're going to put on their Pandora box. And what I mean by that, they're going to, a lot of them, you'll never see this face value because it's strictly for the movers and shakers. Your Tyler Perrys, your Eddie Murphys. You know, I kid you not, man. This really goes on. Your P. Diddy's. You're going to see, you won't see it in the public, but that's what they do in that month. That's a celebration. And then they have newcomers that they bring to the forefront. Who wants to be in the business? Who wants to sell their soul like Nelly? Who wants to be a part of this ritual goddess elite club? They'll take you into Pandora's box and allow them to be dressed up like Eyes Wide Shut, and they're going to be popping dudes in their behind. I kid you not, man. And the women going to get it too. You know, but the women are not going to celebrate with the men. It's a separate entity, but they have women over the women. But then when she want to get really broke in, the men initiate her too. Then you're part of the hood, sisterhood, but that's just the beginning. Because now you got to take it to the next level. They got to teach you the Baphomet. They got to teach you the rituals. They got to teach you all the do's and don'ts. Then you got to sign your name in blood. That's when you're getting ready to make the big money, like Nelly. See, I'm just throwing him under the bus because he's having a difficult time dealing with what he done. It's too late, man. You done had 10 to 12 years of success. You done had money galore. You done bought $3 to $5 million mansions. You've been balling with Bentleys and all these things. You done popped men in their butt. P. Diddy and Nelly done got it on a few occasions. When you get ready to come in that hip-hop era, Diddy gonna get you. Especially if you think you look like something. He wants some of that booty, man. Those are dudes he's popping. When P. Diddy is on his yacht or whatever he's doing, it'd be smooth-faced dudes with glasses. Now, ask yourself this. Why do these dudes wear dark Gucci shades in the middle of the night? Because the eyes are the window to the soul. They're evil as hell, man. They figure with their glasses on, they can lie to you. You won't see who they really are. That's how they get down. They're sodomites. And they hide it not. You sign with Cash Money, you're going to do the same thing Soulja Boy did. You're going to do the same thing Bow Wow did. You're going to do the same thing that Waka Flocka Flavor did. What did they do after they got signed on these labels? They tattoo their whole body. Why you think they do that, yo? Just to be different? Nah. They did that because they was raped. They get they anal to be in this truth of the music industry, showing their honors to the people that's before them. That's the truth of the industry, that you're willing to take a man's penis in his anal. That's the truth. Okay? And when they did that, they just didn't do it one time. They did multiple times. And the only way they feel like they can get their dignity back is to tattoo their body to make them feel like I still have my manhood. What you think they did to B12, man, BK? They raped them boys, man. They popped them in that immature. They raped them boys. They literally raped them boys, dude. Tigger was done in too. All of them are. If they didn't follow the rituals, they could not get airplay. Did you know that? If they didn't have the right executives sucking them off and in return popping them in their anal, you know they couldn't sell records, because the music business is a force, man. And when you look at them, they look hardcore, like, oh, man, they ain't down with that. Yeah, they are. Waka Flocka. You can't shit. You can look at him and tell he done sucked a few. Come on now. All these guys, man. Tupac, too. When he took, I said this before, but let me really reiterate. When he took that picture in the bathtub with the gold between his legs, he was their pinup bitch. He submitted to them like, hey, whatever goes on, goes on. I just want to get paid. That's the way they get down. It's just the truth. Some people can handle the truth and some people can't. We don't care. But it's time to start looking at things with both eyes open and not both eyes shut, because the truth is the light, man. It's this cat that want to be a part of the rap game so bad, man. He looked like he would kill his mama to get a hit record. Rick Ross signed this guy on YouTube. And when Rick Ross signed that dude, man, as wicked as Rick Ross is, now you know Rick Ross is wicked as hell. He did not want to sign that brother. When that dude signed that contract with Rick Ross and Jewmaker hit it right on the point, he looked at that contract, man, he just shook his head. But you can see in his eyes, he just had a look where all bets are off, like, God damn, another brother gone. You see what I'm saying? But them demons got to be fed, man. He has to do it. He has to feed the demons, meaning he got to find people who's vulnerable and dumb enough to want to sell their soul. Once you get into the sodomite world of Hollywood, you have to keep initiating. Why do you think P. Diddy keep bringing out new people? He ain't going to help them. He going to give them one song and he going to get rid of them. Where's Danny Kane at? I mean, seriously, where they at? He really made those girls look like whores, which they probably already are. Now they're just taking skin shots, right? Booty shots, ass cheeks out. See, that's what happened when you get in this world. And by the way, them girls was turned out too. So y'all really believe that this doesn't go on? Do you really believe that it's all about perseverance and getting your education and just getting with the right person to see your talent and give you that type of wealth? These people are demonic. When you see those guys on HGTV, you know, that home network, how they show you how to fix up a house and buy property. These people are all demonic. Selling New York and all that, all of them are gay. All those brokers are gay, and most of the women go by. I'm just telling you how they get down. What they try to do is show you how to build a house and show you how to buy property, but at the same time, they show you how to intertwine with gay. See, a lot of y'all don't catch that. Y'all just look at it as, oh, that's people are people. No, it's not. It's a mind control set. The Food Network, brother. Get it? You look at these guys and be like, man, I'm a chef. I just want to do food. I don't want to be a part of Hollywood. They got their hand on everything that makes money. To be a part of the Food Network, you got to do the same thing as getting a hip-hop contract. It's just dealing with food. You got to take the oath. You got to be a part of Brotherhood. And if you're going to make money like Rachel Ray, you got to sign your name in blood, too. She's wicked as hell. Now check this. Whenever they're doing HGTV, notice when they're doing the HGTV, they have their hands in pyramids a lot. So y'all got to start checking the flow, because everything in Hollywood and everything on cable is ran by who? Illuminati. You get this? So this is how they roll. They always, when they're talking about home networking and how to buy property, they have their hands in the pyramid. This on HGTV now. And it's just about ever you got to start catching it. When they do interviews, the interviewer has his hand in the pyramid, and the person they interview has their hands in the pyramid. And then you got assholes that know this is the way to get paid, and they want a part of the brotherhood. Now, I've seen several episodes on HGTV where normal black people be talking to the interviewer, and they've got their hands in the pyramid trying to get that guy's attention. Now, don't you know that guy know what you're trying to do, but he doesn't know of you. He hasn't heard of you. Because if he knew of you before he do the interview, y'all going to be briefed on y'all brotherhood and y'all gestures of what y'all going to do. So when you throw up your hand in a pyramid like that, he don't know how to take you. He don't know if you're just playing, you're trying to get in. So afterwards, he's going to have a conversation with you. They're going to let it float, because that's how they get down. They're going to let you show that pyramid, but afterwards they're going to question you on that because they don't know you. And most of the time when you're trying to get their attention, they don't want you. They choose you. You don't choose them. Y'all get that? That's how it go. Y'all heard this dude named Jonas? He had a clothing line called LRG Clothing. That was a hit, man. That was a hit. They took him out for a reason. That was it. He was on his way. He had a great clothing line, but there was something that went down that didn't go accordingly. They had to take him out. So a lot of people don't understand this, how this thing roll, man. It's a sodomite world. And matter of fact, they done popped him in his butt, too, before he left out of here. Now, and check this out now. Whenever it happens, it's always they by themselves. Come on. This dude just died out the blue. No, it was a hit. It was something they wanted him to comply with. He didn't agree with, so they took him out. See, that's how they do you once you sign. He signed his name in blood. He was a part of all that. See, you can't be that successful. You can't be that successful and not be a part of their brotherhood. They're going to, look, man, she knew that they was on Jimmy's tail because Jimmy wasn't complying with who? The Illuminati. Now, just to let you know that Janis Joplin knew the truth about Jimmy, as it was months later, they killed her because Janet wouldn't keep quiet. She was talking about it, and they was afraid that she would blow it up. So they got rid of Janis Joplin. And that Asian woman that said that Jimmy tried to take sex from her, they killed her a year later, too, because they can't leave no witnesses. When they orchestrate you and tell you what to say, they have to get rid of you. It's telling the truth about what you think you know and you really don't know, or what's going on in Hollywood of sodomites. Men run the industry. Men pollute this industry, and they tell you what you can and what you can't do. Now, here's the kicker. They always tell you do the what? Follow your dreams. Perseverance. If you really believe in this thing, you can make it happen. What they don't tell you is what you have to do to get to where they're at. See, that's misleading. That's deceitful. They're not telling you the truth, man. And see, they're forbidden to tell you the truth because if they tell you the truth, off with their head. See, because once you join that gang of Illuminati, Boule, it's a ritual. And you agree to the terms that if you tell the secrets, they can cut your tongue out. You agree to that. You took an oath. You took a blood oath and say, I agree I'll never tell the truth. Why do you think that all of these things are coming out? Because what the Most High told us in the book of Luke, everything's in the dark going to come to light. You can't hide no more. And basically what the Lord has shown you, Satan does not have a crew that can upset him, because the Lord allows Satan to use you that way. You was under a test, man. This whole galaxy is a test, but only the strong going to survive. You can't serve two masters, y'all. So y'all think y'all going to take the oath and still get prayed up? Come on, man. Plan.
Put him up.
Remember the good old days when it was Homer Simpson who taught parents how to talk to their kids about bullying?
Let me help you dry those tears.
Somewhere along the line, it looks like parents dumped that job on the schools. Just outside San Francisco, in Alameda County, it looks like kids will be learning the 4 R's this year: reading, writing, arithmetic, and re-education. A vocal group of gay couples is pushing lesson number 9, a so-called anti-bullying lesson plan that will teach kids in kindergarten through 5th grade about LGBT, or lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender lifestyles.
I am a gay dad. I've been with my partner for 15 years, and we've raised both of our children since birth. We needed to address the issues of harassment, and we needed to address the issues of visibility, and the district answered that call.
Alameda Unified School District is acting appropriately in response to both anecdotal knowledge and data that anti-LGBT harassment does occur in our schools, as it does in other schools across the state and country.
Remember, this is about kindergarten through 5th grade. After this meeting, we asked Assistant Superintendent Sherratt to provide that data she referenced on LGBT bullying. In an email, she replied, quote, "I have referred you to the district's legal counsel. It is appropriate that she respond." We're still waiting for that response. What we do know is out of the 140,000 schools in this country, from kindergarten through college, the FBI documented 135 bias incidents based on sexual orientation in 2007. But none of these 135 incidents are specific to grades K through 5. And Fox News reporting did not find any data evidencing bias incidents based on sexual orientation at the elementary school level in 2007 or in any other year.
The LGBT, I classified in the new bullies on the block. The school is not there to teach my child the social issues of life. That's my job. The problem is, there's a group of adults who are trying to superimpose their ideology on some children instead of just preparing teachers how to handle bullying or how to handle offensive language.
So why have LGBT groups moved to the head of the class? Fox News cameras were in Alameda to capture over 10 hours of heated public debate. On one side, angry parents.
And they said, "Ooh, your mom's a lesbian. Lesbian, lesbian, your mom's a lesbian." And she said, "I didn't know what they meant, but I just felt really sad, and I went and sat by myself."
I'm 16, a sophomore at Alameda Community Learning Center, an avid fantasy role player, a metalhead, and a homosexual. I have been harassed by other students in my classes and even began to consider to just stop trying in school and to just give up on life.
On the other side, more angry parents.
My child has been the product of bullying because she's black. She has never viewed a single video in the classroom like Eyes on the Prize, The History of the Buffalo Soldiers, or African-American women writers from the 19th century. However, I am not requiring Alameda Unified School District, who is already strapped for cash, to incorporate these changes because I know how to successfully parent, educate, and instill value and self-worth in my child.
You are choosing a book, and Tango Makes Three, that for 3 years in a row from the American Library Association, and again, libraries are choices, was the most challenged book.
It's about 2 gay penguins who raise a baby penguin, and they live happily ever after. And so again, nothing in this book about bullying or harassment, all about 2 male penguins. And the kids with traditional values are the ones that are considered, bullies, and no one's there to advocate for them.
So how did the school board vote on the curriculum change?
Member Spencer?
Oppose.
Member Tam?
Yes.
Member McMahon?
Oppose.
Member Jensen?
Yes.
Member Mooney?
Yes.
And the LGBT side has it, 3-2. In a state that ranked third from the bottom in 2007 in fourth grade reading scores, Alameda's second grade students will be required to read Tango Makes Three. And by third grade, watch That's a Family.
They're the best dads ever.
The idea that they want to force this on children and parents and not even allow parents to opt their children out proves there's an agenda and they want to force this down these young kids' throats.
I spent 3 years as a volunteer at Franklin Elementary School. I experienced in those 3 years dealing with 40 kindergartners calling each other by a lot of different slurs, including the gay slurs that Ms. England says is just an agenda. It's not just an agenda. It was a need to keep the students safe.
What did you do to stop it? What did you do to stop it? Did you enforce the current school policy?
Let me finish my statement.
What did you do to stop the slurs?
I dealt with that as a Christian.
I'm very excited about going home and kissing my boys and telling them that we have had a victory tonight.
And the school board should be ashamed of itself when not only does it vote to approve such a measure, but funds it in order to vote for it.
This battle isn't over yet. 11 states around the country now have bullying laws that include sexual orientation. That means that this scene in Alameda will be replayed in schools across the country.
Who's on your own. Yeah,
and then I saw this guy, hi Muffin. Now this guy, he was a guy, but he looked like a cross between Lenny Kravitz, Prince, and Rosario Dawson.
Celebrity stylist, philanthropist.
Very pretty dude.
Yes, very pretty.
Yes. Hey, love muffins. Here's we scored. I was just doing the pawpaw and I forgot how much fun doing the pawpaw was. I was like, ow, and ow.
Some balls.
Shout out to all my gay followers. I don't ever want to out any. Well, that's not the right word to say.
Now.
I don't ever want to ostracize anybody. Shout out to all my gay fans out there right now that's listening. Roll your window down and just say, ah! Dance with me on the disco.
Come on and dance.
Dance with me on the disco.
Come on and dance.
You make me feel mighty real.
As they driving in a pink car. 2 tons of fun. But you know what's funny?
Look at Marcus.
Just pop over.
We didn't even know what gay was back then.
Yeah.
My mother and they say he lived an alternative
Shout
lifestyle.
out to all my gay followers. Just pop open a 6-pack of ding-a-lings this weekend and just have yourself a ball.
I think that there are several rappers that are in the closet and gay, and see, those are the type of gay people that the only type of gay people I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with gay people. Gay people are, Beyonce should have said, "Who run the world? Gays," because they everywhere, man. You know what I'm saying? And rightfully so speaking, man. Do you? It's a free country. Be gay. You can, do that. Game don't have a problem with gay people. Game has a problem with people that are pretending not to be gay, but that are that are gay. Because the number one issue with that is that you can be fooling somebody and you can give them AIDS. and they can die. And so that in the closet shit is real scary. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get into the seriousness of it, and it's just not fair to other people. And then that shit spreads because that girl that you might be fooling might leave you and go find another dude who ain't gay, give him the disease, and he go cheats on her, and so it's it's an ongoing thing, man. So it ain't cool to be in a closet. So if you gay, just say you gay, man. Be gay and be proud, man.
But yo, T.I., thank God that he's free at last. Jeezy, oh my God, Jeezy, Busta Rhymes. That's it. Rick Ross. Rick Ross.
Oh, Rick Ross. Rick Ross. Rick Ross. Rick Ross.
Brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes.
I'm telling people now, you know my new slogan is? My new slogan is this: we come out December 4th, we gonna own the fourth quarter. You heard me? We gonna own the fourth quarter. And if you don't jump on the bandwagon now, it's a problem. Because I don't want you jumping on the bandwagon come when we this far. You better hop on now. I'm giving all these magazines, don't chop this. Everybody a chance to hop on now. Don't come hopping on later. I'm not like winning the Super Bowl and then want to automatically be a fan of mine. Don't do that. I'm advise you to hop on now and get on the train and don't miss it. That's what
exactly. One thing I noticed about you, you're a really incredible dancer.
Oh, thank you.
And I wonder, like, take moves from people like Chris Brown.
What? You said, do I take moves?
Yo.
Why would I take a move?
Yo, nobody is touching my man. I got $1 million on it. The best dance out right.
Real talk, bro.
Right.
For real. Honestly, you don't, bro. So don't ask this man. He taking moves from Chris Brown, and don't ask no other disrespectful ass, stupid ass questions. That's real talk. You got a problem when you can holler at me, bro.
Wait, hold on.
That's real. That's real talk. Oh, let's ride, pal. Yeah, you probably about to go do 106 Park. I missed the 106 Park, homie. I'm out, bro. Come on. Oh, I ain't even finna let you go out like that, pimp. And that's real talk, man.
And he come out, and he can come out here and see about it too, for real. He can holler at Big D and Big Los if it's a problem. Hey, D, handle that, Big D.
Do you think that you've done songs with gay rappers, and you know, who are not obviously in the closet?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Oh, when you say who not in the closet?
Who is in the closet?
Possibly, man.
Yeah.
Possibly.
So you think that you've worked with a gay rapper?
Yeah, man. And gay, not being just full out gay, but hiding it, trying to pretend like he, loves girls and lives the rap lifestyle, but really he's a man fan.
He's a man fan.
Yeah. There's a lot of man fans out there in hip hop.
I got you. I got you.
I see how you niggas be looking at niggas when I be around too. They be looking at niggas crazy, and you be thinking, you know, see, no, I'm saying what you might think. You might just see a rapper, right? Looking at another rapper, you might think it's like he looking at a nigga like he got a problem with him, right? But nah, he really looking at him like a man fan. There's a lot of man fans in hip hop, man.
There's a whole bunch of you hoe-ass rap niggas that's in the closet, nigga. Yeah, you in the closet, nigga. Know what I'm talking about? You a homosexual, know what I'm talking about? I ain't got nothing against you, but nigga.
The only reason why you probably hearing them on the radio a lot and seeing their video a lot is because they got like little weird situations with niggas. I don't know if it's like a homosexual situation, some believing in the devil type situation, some going against the grain situation. Niggas be doing any and everything they gotta do to get in position.
So I wanted to start out by asking you, did you all celebrate Mother's Day yesterday? Who did? Yeah? Let's see a show of hands. Who celebrated Mother's Day? Who was the guest of honor yesterday? Who did you honor for Mother's Day in your particular family? Anyone want to say, Stephen?
Grandma.
Your grandmother and your mother? Hannah, how about in your family?
Nobody special was celebrated. It was just my mom, my sister, my stepsister, my stepdad, and me.
So everybody celebrated it with different people. There's step-parents, grandparents, aunts, brothers, sisters, all different kinds of people. And some of you were wondering, you saw that I had invited Emily in, and you were wondering why she's here. Why don't you come up, Emily? For those of you who don't know her, Emily's next door to us in Rose's class. She's in 3rd grade, too. And I asked her to come in today on purpose because yesterday, for Mother's Day, her celebration was probably a little bit different than any of the celebrations that any of us had in this class. Do you know CBK Cookies on Amsterdam Avenue? They sponsored a contest. It was a Mother's Day essay writing contest. And I didn't know about the contest, but when it was over, a couple of people told me, you should read Emily's essay. It was really interesting and really nice. And I thought it would be nice if she came in and read it to you. So here's a copy of it. And in a nice, why don't you move up so they could hear you? And in a nice, really loud voice, this is the essay that was entered for a Mother's Day contest.
My mothers mean so much to me. I have 2 mothers. 2 moms is pretty nice. Well, it's more than pretty nice. It's really nice. You can't imagine. Although having 2 mothers is a problem to others, I respect that that's the way they think, and I can't do anything about it. I still think that those people think stupidly. This once happened with a boy in my class who could not come to my house because my parents were lesbians. One night I called their house and the mother told me their version of the Bible. I stood up for my mothers and knew that many kids of my class were supporting me and calling me to see how I was. I am proud of my moms and enjoy marching in the Gay Pride March every single year with my moms.
So wasn't that a nice essay? Should we give Emily a round of applause? And I thought that before we move on, that you might have a comment or a question that you wanted to ask Emily about her family or about her essay. Daniel?
I think that it was a really nice poem because she stood up for her mother and father, her mothers, and she didn't care what other people thought. And it was like, it doesn't matter if you have a mother and a mother, a father and a father, you stood up for them.
Miranda?
I liked your poem also, and the thing also, but did you win the contest?
You did. Congratulations. Today, the law says that if you're the same sex, 2 men and 2 women, you can't get married. It is against the law. And I thought that it might be kind of fun for us to sort of be pretend judges for a few minutes. What I'm going to give each of you is a sheet that just tells you that some people think that it's wrong for gays to get married, that it's not natural, and that it goes against what a family is. Other people think that the state should not decide these things, that it should just be up to 2 adults to decide what they want to do. What do you think the answer to these questions are? Should gays be allowed to marry? Should they not? What I want you to do is have a discussion, and of course, when you have a discussion, not everybody agrees, but everybody does listen to one another and try to understand each other's positions.
I don't see why they shouldn't. I don't see why they shouldn't get married. I know, I mean, they love each other. It's just like any other people.
They just can't get married like that. I mean, one might have a disease and they want to get married and they won't even know about it. And then maybe the other person might catch it and then they won't be able to get married.
Yeah, but a man and a woman could have a disease also like that. I think gay people should get married. Guys, they love someone, let them get married. I know. Let's say if Andres wanted to get married to Eric. I'm just doing this, but I am the judge and I'm saying, no, you two can't get married. I don't care if you love them. You can't get married. How do you think you guys would feel? Mad? Yeah, exactly. So, like, now the majority is not gay or lesbian couples. I think they should think about what if the majority was gay or lesbian couples and there was a law that said you had to be gay or lesbian and you couldn't get married to the opposite sex. I think they should think about that and see how they would feel, and then they might know how the gays and lesbians feel, and then I think that they might, they should really think about that.
It's like they want to be the bosses of other people.
It's just like having prejudice against blacks or Jews.
In my position here, I would like to give the boys and girls here as many experiences. We go on field trips. We read a variety of pieces of literature. And if they're going to be the leaders of tomorrow, and we don't provide them with these experiences, then we will not be improving our civilization.
Aleister Crowley, the man who called himself the Beast 666, black magician, drug fiend, sex addict, and traitor to the British people.
I want none of your faint approval or faint dispraise. To hell with Christianity, rationalism, Buddhism. I want blasphemy, murder, rape, revolution, anything bad or good, but strong.
Part of Aleister Crowley's so-called sex magic included orgies with little boys whom Crowley molested. Crowley taught that in order for the new eon of Antichrist to be established, he had to initiate the world into homosexuality. Crowley began by implementing many of his homosexual sex magic rituals into a secret order called the OTO. The musical group White Stains named themselves after erotic homosexual poetry written by Aleister Crowley, which Crowley grossly entitled White Stains.
They keep with us, then maybe we're gonna have to start throwing bombs to make them stop.
We're young, we're queer, we're gonna rule the world. We're young, we're queer, we're gonna rule the world.
You're about to see startling evidence that Crowley had as much influence on the world with his sex revolution as he did with the drug revolution. Aleister Crowley knew that if he was to establish a new age of Antichrist, he would have to destroy God's design for family, consisting of men and women as husband and wife. Crowley therefore declared in his book Magic Without Tears that family was public enemy number one. Crowley, who was out to destroy the family, said this, quote, "Think what horrid images it evokes from the mind. Not only Victorian, wherever the family has been strong, it has always been an engine of tyranny. Curse them. They are always in the way. To the performance of this work, speaking of the New Age, the nearest obstacle and the most obvious is the family."
I have exposed myself to every form of disease, accident, and violence. I have driven myself to delight in dirty and disgusting debauches, and to devour human excrements and human flesh. I have mastered every mode of my mind, and made myself a morality more severe than any other in the world. 1,000 years from now, the world will be sitting in the sunset of Crowleyanity.
Often seen marching in homosexual parades is a sexually deviant group NAMBLA, some of whose members are associated with the teachings of Aleister Crowley. Like Crowley, NAMBLA emphasized homosexual sex, including sex with little boys. NAMBLA actually stands for North American Man-Boy Love Association. Sadly, many homosexuals are preying on the little children. In fact, nearly 60% of homosexuals claim that they were molested by another homosexual while they were children. Crowleyite and founder of the modern gay movement, Harry Hay, is seen here marching in a parade wearing a sign promoting the North American Man-Boy Love Association. Homosexual Michael Swift wrote in the Gay Community News, quote, "We shall sodomize your sons, emblems of your feeble masculinity. We shall seduce them in your schools, in your dormitories, in your gymnasiums, in your locker rooms, in your sports arenas, in your seminaries, in your youth."
Well, I would want more basic, like right now what I have is like, my name is Matthew, I like this, this, and this. Now on to the next person in my family. I wish I could give more information because it's more important. It's important to the story to know everyone's perspective on everything. Like, we're not the perfect family. We argue, we fight, but we're like real.
I think it's important for you to hear from us, not just about us. I know all of you have a big decision to make. And it comes down to one important question. Do you believe that my parents are equal to every other straight couple in Rhode Island? I personally believe everyone is equal, and I hope you will be influenced by my story. And I hope you will be influenced by my story.
Homosexuals have made incredible inroads into the public school systems, even though they themselves cannot have children with their same-sex partners. Project 10, which was based on the skewed statistic of sex researcher Alfred Kinsey, who claimed that 10% of the USA was gay, is still a program that is taught in public schools today as homosexuals seek to recruit among the young and impressionable. Project 10 seeks to get impressionable elementary students to explore possibly latent homosexual tendencies by lying to them and claiming that the basis of Kinsey's statistics that 10% of them are homosexuals and need to accept it. Incredibly, along with Harry Hay, the world's most renowned sex researcher Alfred Kinsey was also influenced by the works of Satanist Aleister Crowley.
As everybody here knows, last year, upon a long period of reflection, I concluded that we cannot discriminate against same-sex couples when it comes to marriage. That the basic principle that America is founded on, the idea that we're all created equal, applies to everybody, regardless of sexual orientation, as well as race or gender. We're all created equal.
Aleister Crowley declared the death of Christianity. He was to be the new Messiah that would replace the pallid dead Christ.
I believe he was the real thing. He had given himself under demonic control. He was evil.
Very clever. A genius, for God's sake. A raving genius, you know. In a world of little tiny people, as Crowley saying, my God, why are you so unhappy? You want to make love? Well, make love, for Christ's sake. You want to take drugs? You want to expand your consciousness? Please do it.
Since his death in 1947, Crowley has become an icon of rebellion. The Rolling Stones, David Bowie, Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page have all been influenced by his message of freedom. He continues to be a key figure in the occult and is a focus for those engaged in the battle between good and evil.
This is sex ritual, is sex magic, and that's where you get all of these hermaphroditic sexual symbols.
And that children, even infants, were sexual beings who could and in fact should have pleasurable sex with adults. Satanist Aleister Crowley would have been proud.
We have been being poisoned by this stuff since 1957.
When you open up a can, you may not notice the lining inside, but believe it or not, that lining may contain a synthetic estrogen. That's right, a sex hormone, and it's in almost every single can we consume.
This could probably be a cause of a lot of the problems people are having. And this just blows me away. You know, this makes me sick.
I got raped when I was 11, Twist. I loved it.
NAMBLA, some of whose members are associated with the teachings of Aleister Crowley. Like Crowley, NAMBLA emphasized homosexual sex, including sex with little boys.
I loved it.
Oh, because it's just, oh, Lil Wayne's just too good.
I loved it. I loved it. I ain't never pressed charges. I'm gonna do you like baby them did me. Yeah. I'll never forget that day. Yeah, no, they was all in the kitchen. I was scared. It was cool. There was about this many niggas and shit too in that bit. I'll never forget the word. Suck Lil Wayne, let dick.
But instead of the usual boy meets girl romance, this film's about cowboy meets cowboy. It's one of the most forward attempts yet by Hollywood to mainstream homosexuality. David Kupelian, author of The Marketing of Evil.
It is very, very propagandistic because the entire purpose of the movie is to make homosexuality seem like something good and appealing, and to make people who are opposed to homosexuality seem to be bigots and homophobes.
There have been homosexual movies for years, but usually marketed to gay and art house audiences, but not with Brokeback.
They are marketing red state, you know, bush country America.
This man in the world, Aleister Crowley, be George W. Bush's grandfather. In 1925, Crowley received a letter from Theodor Roos of the OTO in Germany. A vacancy had become available for international head of the OTO. They had chosen Baphomet.
To the British, and indeed the Americans, I may have been a flesh-eating devil, but the Germans obviously still appreciated the lore of Thelema. I was still Baphomet, an Ipsissimus, the great beast, 666.
They said they hoped it would be forever as they exchanged vows before the city's mayor. Two men have become the first gay couple to legally marry in France, just days after President Francois Hollande signed the same-sex marriage bill into law.
Then I'm gonna say my chorus. Running through all the dicks, like Forrest. I hate niggas, that's not true. They ask me what block I live on, I said on your dick, between your balls. Okay, I said I'm sucking your dick, your balls in my face like Kobe. Little nigga, I be sucking your dick and y'all don't even know me. Yo, I said I'm sucking on your dick. In prison, I'm the warden. You already know my legs open faster than Jordan. Sucking on the dick fast, I never do it slow. Everybody know because my job is to blow, and my blows is to job. Like I'm sucking on your knob, and I'm sucking on your cock. It's like corn on the cob. Tough and my neck shit crazy. I suck your dick, then I really call KD. But lately, I've been sucking dick, and y'all wanna smell? Well, fuck it though. I'ma really let that smell. And look, Drake voice. Started from the dick, now I'm here. Started from the dick, now I'm sucking on your pubic hair. Started from the dick, now I'm here. Started from the dick, now I'm sucking. Then I grab his nutsack. Started from the dick, now I'm here. Started from the dick, now I'm here. Started from the dick, now I'm sucking on your pubic hair. Started from the dick, now I'm here.
You got your wife and baby.
Brokeback Mountain looks like a big, bold, manly Western movie, but instead of the usual boy meets girl romance, this film's about cowboy meets cowboy. It's one of the most forward attempts yet by Hollywood to mainstream homosexuality. David Kupelian, author of The Marketing of Evil.
It is very, very propagandistic because the entire purpose of the movie is to make homosexuality seem like something good and appealing, and to make people who are opposed to homosexuality seem to be bigots and homophobes.
There have been homosexual movies for years, but usually marketed to gay and art house audiences, but not with Brokeback.
They are marketing red state, bush country America.
The way the studio did that was by first opening it up in just 5 blue state cities where there were large built-in gay audiences, so the first showings had blockbuster numbers.
And they get these high numbers and all the buzz going, and then pretty soon it's sort of like the Emperor's New Clothes effect. We're all looking at that, even middle Christian America saying, everybody else says this movie is so great. I need to go see it to see why it's so great.
Is there an actual agenda at work here? Alan Sears and his co-author, Craig Austin, in a book called The Homosexual Agenda, warn about a complex and well-thought-out strategy to make America gay-friendly and hostile to those who resist. These Christian authors quote extensively from After the Ball, a 1989 gay manifesto that laid out this agenda. Many gays deny such an agenda exists.
There's no secret plan or even public plan at this point.
But the authors themselves discuss in the book a 1988 summit of gay leaders in Warrenton, Virginia to agree on the agenda. These authors are a reportedly brilliant researcher into the brain, Marshall Kirk, and a Harvard-trained expert in public persuasion tactics, Hunter Madsen. The two proposed using on straight America tactics remarkably similar to the brainwashing methods of Mao Zedong's Communist Chinese, mixed with Madison Avenue's most persuasive selling techniques. The purpose of this brainwashing? Quote, using the very processes that made America hate us to turn their hatred into warm regard, whether they like it or not. First, the two proposed homosexuals and their liberal allies should desensitize heterosexuals by getting homosexuality talked about as much as possible in the straight world. Quote, the main thing is talk about gayness until the issue becomes thoroughly tiresome. You can forget about trying right up front to persuade folks that homosexuality is a good thing, but if you can get them to think it is just another thing, meriting no more than a shrug of the shoulders, then your battle for legal and social rights is virtually won.
We're talking about a demand for a behavior that not only wants to not be condemned, but to have every affirmation from every possible point that it is correct, it's good, and it's approved.
Now look at the media. There's a tidal wave of gays and gay themes. The L Word is a Showtime hit that follows the lives of a group of lesbians. #1 rated Desperate Housewives even has time for the occasional gay guy subplot.
You're gay? I'm gay.
A flamboyant homosexual is one of the main characters in the brand new series, Emily's Reasons Why Not.
He just doesn't seem gay.
I didn't seem gay before I came out.
Yeah, you did.
Heights, one of the most popular independent films of late, has a closeted gay torturing himself over whether to marry his fiancée or go off with the man he really loves. Happy Endings features another tortured young man who can't be happy till he finally faces his homosexuality. And here in the latest movie section of the Washington Post, The Family Stone, where a mom says she'd just as soon have gay kids as straight ones, The Producers, which features a wildly homosexual Broadway director, and Capote, about the famously gay writer. Another point Kirk and Mattson push: portray gays as victims of circumstance and oppression, not as aggressive challengers. Gays must be portrayed as victims in need of protection, so that straights will be inclined by reflex to assume the role of protector.
Suddenly those who choose homosexual behavior, sodomy, are victims. It's crazy.
But have homosexuals won on getting themselves seen as a persecuted minority? Turning to the movies,
the Bible is black and white.
The wildly popular Saved portrays born-again Christians as cruel homophobes trying to reprogram poor, young, misunderstood gays in their midst. Trembling Before God is about how Orthodox and Hasidic homosexuals are persecuted and not accepted. The Conspiracy of Silence argues some gay priests are hounded to death because they can't act out their homosexuality. And the list of gay-centered, gay-sympathetic shows goes on and on. Closeted Canadian homosexuals in Touch of Pink. Closeted Asian lesbians in Saving Face. And the good, kind, understanding homosexual next door has been seen in so many movies and TV series, he's become somewhat of a cliché. These days, some 30 regular homosexual characters are being beamed into your home by the major networks every week. As Kirk and Mattson put it, quote, the average American watches over 7 hours of TV daily. Those hours open up a gateway into the private world of straights, through which a Trojan horse might be passed. And speaking of horses, like it or not, the gay cowboys of Brokeback Mountain are playing to big crowds in a theater near you right now. Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
Do you have faith? I have faith in my kids. Me too. Yeah, I have faith in my kids. And I have faith that, you know, as long as you keep moving forward, just keep walking forward, things will be all right, I suppose, you know. Faith in terms of religion, religion is not my specialty, you know.
The most feasible ways is to please the spirits, is to deride Christ and his people, such as you see today in the rock music world. You see the entertainers, they have these crosses. Ladies got earrings, crosses. This is a form of blasphemy, a form of deriding Christ.
Do you have faith? I have faith in my kids. I have faith that, you know, as long as you keep moving forward, just keep walking forward, things will be all right, I suppose, you know. Faith in terms of religion, religion is not my specialty, you know.
Witches teach that the Christian Bible is an absolute lie, created by the god of evil named Jesus.
I hereby pronounce this the final shot of the set. Wait a minute. What's that?
I have never told anyone what I'm about to tell you. I like to dress in women's clothing.
Is when I dropped the information about Quincy Jones. He set up sex rings in Hollywood. I'm saying there's a homosexual ritual that they go through in the Illuminati secret societies. Quincy Jones brought in Fresh Prince, and his first movie was what? 6 Degrees of Separation. Brought in Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah set it off, licking and kissing on women. Are you right on me? Yes. Tevin Campbell, his little sweet ass up and down Hollywood Boulevard. Go online and read where Tupac said he was asked by Quincy Jones to fuck him in the ass. When Tupac said no, that's when Tupac was marked for death. Why? Because Tupac was engaged to Quincy Jones' daughter. Quincy Jones's daughter was best friend was Aaliyah. Aaliyah was engaged to Dame Dash. Now, if y'all follow these people back, all of them either died or was brought to ruin.
Without TV, the Illuminati would never gain control of the world. There's symbols on the TV sets that are hypnotic symbols. You can talk to anybody that's a hypnotist and they can tell you, why do you think that you can sit there and somebody can scream in your ear half the time and you don't know they're screaming at you? There are things that are burnt into your mind through the TV sets that are subtle, that are symbols and words and actions. Two of the major networks in this country are completely Illuminati owned, lock, stock, and barrel. ABC and CBS. And NBC is 90% Illuminati. Try getting a serious Bible-believing program on TV that preaches hardcore gospel. It'll never happen.
Another amazing man in Johnny's life, Hunter S. Thompson. Johnny became friends with Thompson before he filmed Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It was a friendship that endured for years.
Let's talk about Hunter Thompson and your friendship with him.
Hunter and I, it was when I was researching Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and I was living in his basement, you know, and I happened upon this box as we were looking through the manuscript of Fear and Loathing.
So explain to the uninitiated who Hunter Thompson was.
He was, without question, I mean, I think the most important non-fiction writer of the 20th century.
He reinvented a style of writing by putting himself into the situation, by living it, by putting himself into the situation, by living it.
I like to kill.
And when you say kill, you're talking about what, neighbors? What?
We don't want to talk about shooting people, do we?
No, but you're teasing when you say you like to kill, right?
Could you relax with him?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Well, tell us about the first time you ever met him.
There was a sort of scheduled meeting. It was about midnight, and I was sitting in the back of this bar, and suddenly the front door opened of the bar. I was way in the back, and I saw sparks, these hideous sparks that were kind of everywhere. And then I realized as he came closer, the sea was parting. People jumping and diving and hurling themselves to safety. I realized that he had a 3-foot cattle prod in his left hand. In his left hand, he had a 3-foot cattle prod. Right hand, he had a taser gun. And a taser in his right. And then I heard, "Out of my way, you bastards." What I heard was, "Out of the way, you bastards." And then we shook hands, and then we went back to his house and built a bomb. I shot it with a shotgun.
And it went off?
Yeah, 80-foot fireball, yeah, huge.
See, it does sound like fun.
Nitroglycerin and things like that.
We did this thing, Breakfast with Hunter, where he was in town, so I went to Johnny Depp and I went to go see him, and we picked him up in some car, and he had some inflatable blow-up doll that he was calling Ling Ling, and we drove around Hollywood before he went to this reading, and he kept beating the doll. And then he would take her out into the street and say, "You bitch!" And he would just be punching this blow-up doll on the street, and you see these cars swerving. And I mean, he was just always ready for a show that was beyond any sense of kind of decency, and went into some absurdist land that Major Head spent. I like to kill. I was funny because I like to kill.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about shooting people, do we?
No, but you're teasing when you say you like to kill, right?
No, I'm not teasing. I used to like to kill.
Hunter S. Thompson, a friend of yours.
Later in life, just kind of veered off, you know, a little. In terms
Demons.
Of veered off, you know, a little. In terms
Demons.
Of
Demons.
Do you have faith?
Faith in terms of religion, I don't. Religion is not my specialty, you know.
The most feasible way, he says, to please the spirits is to deride Christ and his people, such as you see today in the rock music world. You see the entertainers, they have these crosses. The ladies got earrings, crosses. This is a form of blasphemy, a form of deriding Christ.
And if Washington doesn't have enough to talk about these days, the Washington Times reported today that unidentified White House aides in the Carter, Reagan, and Bush administrations now are being investigated for using the services of a call boy ring. A call boy ring.
Aside from the fact that you had sex with some of these politicians, at some of these parties, did you recognize any prominent senators or congressmen or anybody?
I've seen, at the time, Vice President Bush go in and all he did was the kids performed oral sex on him. That was it.
Kids what?
Performed oral sex on him. And then
the kid performed oral. Which of the black kid or the white kid?
Both of them. Well,
when
doesn't
President Bush came in, two separate parties. One's with a white kid, one's with a black kid. Yeah. So you saw him twice.
Yeah.
And the kid had to perform oral sex on him.
The illumination of 1,000 points of light, and it is expressed by all who know the irresistible force of a child's hand, the irresistible force of a child's hand, of a friend who stands by you and stays there, a volunteer's generous gesture.
After the party was over, the ones that were involved with him, or the ones that he was trying to get political favors from, that wanted whatever they wanted, they would stay or they'd come in after the party was over or the next day. See, so at the party, nothing even abnormal. I mean, if somebody was in there and stuff, they'd see no abnormal activities going on, so they would, honestly be able to say that. I've been to parties, but I've never seen anything. So.
I do that for, I like to kill. I was hunting because I like to kill.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about shooting people, do we?
No, but you're teasing when you say you like to kill, right?
No, I'm not teasing. I used to like to kill.
You know, he used to call me Colonel Depp. You know, he said, Colonel, we must produce this. You know, we'll produce this together. It'll be our, and so that was the plan. Losing Hunter took me down because you know that these friends, these mentors, these teachers, these father figures, these someone who you really. It was amazing to be accepted by them and to be loved by them.
He dictated exactly the way he was going to live his life.
Or maybe he didn't care.
Oh, well, he couldn't give a rat's.
Yeah.
He really didn't.
So it didn't make any difference what planet. It was all going to be about him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like to kill.
No, but you're teasing when you say you like to kill, right?
Hunter S. Thompson, who was the author of The Rum Diary and the author of many great books, including Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He reinvented a style of writing by putting himself into the situation, by living it, He's, for me, one of the great heroes. He's, for me, one of the great heroes. For me, one of the great heroes.
And when he died, you blew his ashes.
What Hunter wanted was to be blown out of a 150-foot cannon and shot into the stratosphere. And I think he knew that I was the only one stupid enough to make that happen, and I did.
Did it work?
Oh, yeah.
He came down all over all of us. You know, we were covered in Hunter's ashes. But the idea also is to take Hunter, you know, his ashes and then mix that in with gunpowder. There was something so poetic about that, you know, something so kind of symmetrical about Hunter becoming basically large bullets.
But today, the West Memphis Three have become a cause celeb. How can you be absolutely sure that these three men are innocent?
If there was the tiniest sliver of doubt, I wouldn't be sitting here.
They're cold-blooded murderers.
In your opinion, it doesn't add up that way.
In my opinion, and 24 jurors out of the state of Arkansas's opinion.
The West Memphis Three, convicted of a horrific crime, the murders of 3 8-year-old boys in Arkansas.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual. Do you feel a sense of the clock ticking?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel a sense of the clock ticking?
Oh, yeah.
You know that sometimes when someone from Hollywood takes a stand on an issue, he can be dismissed or sometimes accused of doing it for publicity.
Yeah, I'm a big publicity hound, me. If they try to make me squirm, that's nothing compared to what these guys have had to deal with for the last 16 years.
Christopher was a shy one. Michael Moore, he was going to be a police officer. Stevie, I'm so proud of him. He was an achiever. He was a very brilliant, wonderful baby God blessed me with.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
That's nothing compared to what these guys have had to deal with for the last 16 years.
You see, the entertainers, they have these crosses. This is a form of blasphemy, a form of deriding Christ.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual, so Damien Eccles, then 19, was sentenced to death.
But the person that you are today is sitting on death row. You wouldn't want to change that?
I don't think there was anything I could do to change that. What was it? I mean, become a clone, give up my personality, give up my identity, just march along like everyone else. I'd rather die first.
How can you be absolutely sure that these three men are innocent?
If there was the tiniest sliver of doubt, I wouldn't be sitting here.
You're familiar with a fellow named Aleister Crowley?
I know
Heard
who
of
he
him?
is. I know
Okay.
who he is.
A noted author in the field of satanic worship, right?
I know he is, but I've never saw any of his books personally.
Okay. Not really much of a follower of his.
I would have read them if I would have saw him.
Aleister Crowley is a guy that, based on his writings, believes in human sacrifice, doesn't he?
He also believed he was God, though. So
Whose names are written on that document?
mine, Jason's, my son's, one that says Aleister Crowley, and
Wait. Who?
Aleister Crowley.
Now, this is a document that you've written while you've been waiting in jail for trial, right?
If you say so.
How can you be absolutely sure that these three men are innocent?
If there was the tiniest sliver of doubt, I wouldn't be sitting here.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual. Part of a satanic ritual.
And one of the names that you picked out to write about was this fellow named Aleister Crowley, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that just a total coincidence? You just pulled his name out of the air?
No, it's just the same book that I had with the different alphabets in it. It also had stuff about him in it.
You write all this down from memory?
Mm-hmm.
The only other name on this document, besides yourself, your best friend, and your son, is Aleister Crowley, correct?
Yes, sir.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual.
That's nothing compared to what these guys have had to deal with for the last 16 years.
On question number 9, how do you think the person feels that did this? The answer was probably makes them feel good, gives them power. Now, I guess Officer Ridge said that too.
No, I use common sense on that.
Okay.
If someone was doing it, then they must have wanted to. And if they were doing something they wanted to, it must have made them happy. I don't think they were doing it because someone forced them to or because they didn't want to.
Okay. So in your mind, the person that killed these 3 kids, it's common sense that killing 3 8-year-olds would make you feel good.
Whoever did it, it must have.
I like to kill. I was funny because I like to kill.
Yeah.
These mentors, these teachers, these father figures.
He's, for me, one of the great heroes.
Did you also tell him that each person had a demonic side to them?
I believe every person has a good side and a bad side, yes.
Well, were those your words when you referred, when he's got written down here, he stated that there was no control of the demonic portion of people?
He asked me, did I think there were some people that could not control that side? I said, yes, I guess there is.
It also states that Damien stated that the younger the victim would be more innocent, and in turn more power would be given the person doing the killing.
Right.
Okay. Did you say that?
Yes.
Okay, those are your words.
Mm-hmm.
Did you pick that up when you were studying to be a Catholic?
No. I saw that on several movies, books.
How can you be absolutely sure that these 3 men are innocent?
If there was the tiniest sliver of doubt, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Did you hear somebody say something about the murder of the 3 little boys?
Yes, I heard Damien Eccles say that he killed the 3 boys.
Where were you? Was he saying that to you, or what were you doing?
I was walking by with my friend.
He said, I killed the 3 little boys, and before I turn myself in, then I'm going to kill 2 more, and I already have one of them picked out.
You didn't recognize anybody else that was with him?
I saw Jason Baldwin there.
And who was Damien talking to?
All the people there.
All the people there?
I don't remember saying that at the time because to me, I didn't actually do it. So it would have been like a joke. It would have been like a joke.
Margaret, 2 teenage girls took the stand this morning, and they said they heard Damien Eccles confess to the murders of 3 8-year-old boys last May. One of the girls said she overheard Damien Eccles say, I killed the 3 boys, and I'm going to kill 2 more. I already have one picked out. Later in the afternoon, when the defense began presenting its witnesses, Damien Eccles himself took the stand. He said he thought the girls were lying and that they were making up those statements.
I don't remember saying that at the time because to me, I didn't actually do it. So it would have been like a joke.
I feel good so far. So far, to me, it looks like we've got it beat. I only know of 2 things that really hurt. That one kid getting up there for Jason.
Yeah.
And those girls.
There was one point in there, though, where he asked you, he says, it looks like you're just changing your story to fit whatever comes up. And you said, yeah.
I was just like halfway listening to him.
There's never been a moment that I've ever doubted that we did not arrest the right individuals. Never in my mind. There's never been a doubt. I can go to bed at night and sleep knowing that I did my job and did it well. If there was a doubt in my mind, I would still be on the police department, I'd still be working the case.
How can you be absolutely sure that these 3 men are innocent?
If there was the tiniest sliver of doubt, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Most of the time we didn't really set out to do anything in particular. We just started hanging around and whatever happened just usually happened. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. We were just sitting on the couch watching TV the night we were arrested. The pigs busted in, started running all over the house. We tried to hide in the bedroom when the cops first came, but they wouldn't leave. We were in the bedroom, turned the light off. Maybe they'll go away.
I know, and they're open up.
We saw the lights go out. I wanted to strangle him.
Were you watching the jury?
Mm-hmm.
How do you pick it?
With my finger. No.
Once you get out of here, you gonna buy the beer?
The whiskey. No beer.
Do you think Damien could have killed those little boys?
They made it seem like he did.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual.
That's nothing compared to what these guys have had to deal with for the last 16 years.
I knew from when I was real small that people were going to know who I was. I always had that feeling. I just never knew how they were going to learn. I kind of enjoy it because now, even after I die, people are going to remember me forever. They're going to talk about me for years. People in West Memphis will tell their kids stories. It'll be like, sort of like I'm the West Memphis boogeyman. Little kids will be looking under their bed before they go to bed. Damien might be under there.
We're just about out of time, and I'm wondering if there's anything that you want to say or you want to talk about that I haven't asked you about.
We were getting ready to do an interview a while ago, and the first thing Johnny says is, when this is over, we've got to find a tattoo parlor. You know, it's one of those things. He didn't just support us while we were in prison. He's been with us every single step of the way since we've gotten out. He's become like a brother to me. And that's one of the things we always do, you know, just as part of that bond, is whenever you get tattoos like that, it's something that both of you carry with you through the rest of your life.
You see, the entertainers, they have these crosses. This is a form of blasphemy, a form of deriding Christ. When you get into a secret society of spirit worshippers,
that some call the Illuminati, it's important to understand that the key thing of the conspiracy is that it's done in secret.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web
Number
page.
322? You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code?
I wish there were something secret I could manifest.
322, a secret number?
when you get into a secret society of spirit worshippers,
that some call the Illuminati, it's important to understand that the key thing of the conspiracy is that it's done in secret.
So you deliberately don't look at the finished product?
Oh, yeah. I stay as far away as I possibly can.
Is that right?
Yeah. If I can, I try to stay in as profound a state of ignorance as possible. Just, you know, I don't like, I don't like watching myself.
Yeah.
But then he's up there.
Right.
Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Then he's up there. Then he's up there. Then he's up there. Then he's up there.
Right.
Know what I mean?
But aren't you a little curious to just kind of get a glimpse of yourself on the...
Not remotely, no.
Is that right?
Really, truly, honestly.
Wow. Aren't you a little curious about how the work looks that you're doing?
No.
I believe it's over 75% of people do not really believe in a real tangible devil. But there is one.
Oh, yeah. I like to kill. I was only because I like to kill.
Yeah.
These mentors, these teachers, these father figures.
He's, for me, one of the great heroes.
Case against two men accused of sexually abusing their children will be heard by a jury. In a stunning turn of events, the defense withdrew a plea deal that would have kept two Glastonbury fathers out of jail. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew Campbell just got out of court and is live now with the new information. Matthew?
Well, Denise, this is literally a case that's pitting brother against brother. On one hand, you have one son who's describing in detail some of the graphic, alleged sexual abuse that happened at the hands of his two fathers. While on the other hand, his own blood brother is saying none of that is true. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at video just shot moments ago. The two men at the center of it all are George Horanz and Douglas Worth. Here they are leaving the courthouse together moments ago. They had no comment for us, and they adopted 9 children in all. Some of them are accusing the couple of doing the unthinkable. We're talking about rapes, locking children in cages, and many more things just too graphic for TV. Now, the couple faced a slew of sexual assault charges, but once this went to court, the state...
A little bit of fan mail here. Dear Molotov, like you, I'm a libertarian-minded individual. I love Ron Paul. Aside, I wore this shirt today just for you, Steve. Thought you'd appreciate that. Since watching your show, I've even started taking Krav Maga lessons. But there is one issue that I cannot seem to reconcile. How is it that you, an intellectually curious individual, a member of Mensa no less, could oppose LGBT people's right to marry whomever they want? Gay marriage is going to happen sooner or later. If they don't get on the right side of history, the Republican Party may go down with this ship. I sincerely hope you aren't on it. With the utmost respect, Stephen. Well, Stephen, I truly appreciate your civil dissent. Your mild tone is a breath of fresh air compared to the usual profanity-laced, Dan Savage-styled diatribes that my staff are normally subjected to. First off, addressing your concern about me and the GOP, I'm not tied to the Republican Party, so I'm not going down with any ship. Second, I do not agree with your assertion that gay marriage is inevitable. The vast majority of Americans take issue with gay marriage, and frankly, they're sick and tired of having their votes thrown out by a few liberal judges. But allow me to answer your question as to why a sharp fellow like myself, a thinker, would take issue with gay marriage. Well, Steve, I don't actually have a problem with people entering into contracts with each other or leaving each other property. I don't have any problem with people visiting each other in hospitals. People have a right to property, they have a right to privacy, and I fully support that. I believe in the power of attorney, for example. I believe in wills and the sharing of legally binding documents. What I have a problem with is defining gay marriage as a civil right. If gay marriage can be classified as a civil right in the United States, then mosques, synagogues, and churches will lose the right to criticize homosexuality in their services, and they will certainly not be allowed to refuse marriage to anyone that walks in the door. They will be forced to marry gay couples. That's not fear-mongering, it's already happening. Last year in Denmark, their parliament ruled that gay marriage was a civil right and that gay couples could get married in any church or synagogue that they chose. Clergy will just have to bend over and take it. Apparently, in this era of political correctness, the right to marriage outweighs the fundamental rights of religion, association, and speech. Steve, if the people of California, the most liberal state in America, if the people of California voted to ban gay marriage, it should be banned. End of story. Either we have a democratic process or we don't. Ironically, it's the Democrats that are trying to overturn the will of the people here. Democracy is the first thing to go out the window when Democrats lose any kind of vote. They should stop calling themselves Democrats, frankly. They should They should call themselves something like egocrats, because all they care about is getting what they want, and they'll do it by hook or by crook. There's nothing democratic about suppressing the will of the people, and there's nothing tolerant about it either. Steve, you mentioned Krav Maga classes, so let me share something. Now, this is the first time I've ever mentioned this publicly, but it is relevant. Before I had studios around North Carolina, I once taught Krav Maga at a school in Raleigh. Actually, my wife and I, we both taught there, and we never talked about politics at all when we were teaching. It just never came up. But of course, outside of the studio, as a political communication strategist, I was involved in several conservative groups, and one of them was trying to pass this amendment that would ban gay marriage. Well, when the owner of the studio found out, and after North Carolina passed this amendment, he got so mad, he kicked us out, me and my wife. And then he started spreading rumors and lies about me, telling people that I was a hate monger and that I wanted to kill all the gays. Yeah, he actually said that. And he used those smears, those lies, to try to damage our business and ultimately steal my schools out from under me. And I'm the one who's a bully? I'm the one who's intolerant? Honestly, I'm sick and tired of being the punching bag for gay marriage extremists. I'm not a hate monger because I send death threats to gay activists. I don't do that. They do that. I'm not a bully. I don't overturn people's propositions so I can force them to like me, force them to do what I want. They do that. I'm not some crazy kook fringe here. I represent the vast majority of Americans who are just concerned about the implications of turning gay marriage into a civil right. I simply disagree. And even though I'll be called a Bible thumper for bringing up these things, I haven't brought up the Bible once. I don't need to. I'm bringing up the Constitution because I respect the Constitution. I respect the law of the land. Unlike gay rights extremists, I actually respect the will of the people, even when they disagree with me. If gay rights advocates get enough votes to legalize gay marriage, legalize it. But don't call me a hate monger or a bully because we simply disagree, and don't you dare try to overturn my vote because you don't like the outcome. That's not democracy. That's not fair. That's not tolerant. On the record!
An egregious example of Christians being charged with a supposed hate crime for trying to preach the gospel to homosexuals happened recently in Philadelphia. Michael Markavich is the founder and director of Repent America.
On October 10th of 2004, our ministry was present at an event in Philadelphia called Outfest, which is a taxpayer-funded event which celebrates homosexuality. And we were there for two reasons, one being to address the public celebration of sin, and the second to proclaim the Word of God and the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Markavich and 10 other people carried signs and proclaimed the message of repentance and change through Christ at the event, which took place on the public streets of downtown Philadelphia.
When we did arrive, we were interfered with by this militant group of homosexuals who came together to oppose our presence, to basically say that they're not going to allow us to come into the public streets to share the gospel. And certainly we went ahead and tried our best to communicate what we were there to do, and that was to share the message that homosexuality is sin and Christ can set you free. Police, instead of dealing with those who were acting disorderly, which was the homosexual group who were blowing these loud piercing whistles and engaged in blocking us with these styrofoam boards that were cut into the form of angels, they had surrounded us and began to follow us around. The police didn't deal with that situation, even though I had asked.
Instead, police arrested the members of Repent America and took them to jail. Arlene Elshenaway is a 75-year-old grandmother who demonstrated with Repent America that day.
I've never been arrested for any reason whatsoever. We were handcuffed and taken into the paddy wagon, which was without windows, so that we really didn't know where we were going, where we were being driven to. We ended up at some police station. To this day, I don't know where.
Ted Hoppy, an attorney affiliated with the Alliance Defense Fund, represented the so-called Philadelphia 11.
They ultimately were arrested
charged with disorderly conduct, put in handcuffs, and taken away. They were held in jail for about 21 hours, charged, and then ultimately released, but still facing the criminal charges. After that time, what ended up happening was the district attorney's office formally charged them, and included in the charges against them were a charge under the Pennsylvania hate crimes law. Pennsylvania is called an ethnic intimidation, but it really is a hate crimes law. And that crime is a felony, and if they were convicted of that, would carry jail time in a state penitentiary.
And what we were simply saying was that homosexuality is sin, but Christ can set you free. That was the message of our presence at that event, is that what you're doing here is celebrating sin in the public streets of Philadelphia. And as Christians, we're here to address that, but we're also to give the hope that is found in Jesus Christ to you. And that was what we're there to do. And the prosecutor in this case said, that's hate speech, and we're not going to have any of it.
When we were released, given this piece of paper, which were 3 felonies and 5 misdemeanors, if they had found us guilty of these things, it was worth 47 years in prison, plus a $90,000 fine for each of us. The charge was ethnic intimidation. In my case, pretty ironic that I would be charged with ethnic discrimination. But since when does your sexual preference qualify as making you an ethnic group?
Every year in Philadelphia, they have a celebration of homosexuality. It's called Outfest. It's a taxpayer-funded event where thousands of people come into the streets of Philadelphia to celebrate their homosexuality. So as Christians, we believe that there needs to be a response to a public celebration of sin, such as Outfest. So our ministry went to Outfest. There were 11 of us in total. And ultimately, we had been arrested for singing Blessed Be the Name of the Lord at this event, because we were directed out of the event, and we believed that we had the right to be in the public square just as everyone else.
What they do is they set up a stage here on the corner of 13th and Locust where this traffic is coming out. And basically on this stage there's a lot of open lewdness that takes place, a lot of very disturbing things that do take place in front of children. And we were actually entering to the event through this sidewalk here. Right here at this intersection of 13th and Locust, we were blocked by a group of homosexuals who actually linked arms to prevent us from coming into the event.
Public street. You know where you want.
All right, thank you, officer. This here is obstruction. When they have the signs and trying to block us, and their intent, as they said in the Philadelphia Gay News, is to have us block our message blocked.
If you feel that way, I think you can seek relief through injunctive relief or through the courts.
As I was speaking with him and encouraging him to do something about these whistles that were being blown at us, and they had big pieces of styrofoam that were cut out in the form of angels. And they began to block us with these styrofoam boards so no one can see us. So when they have their pink signs around us, did you give them the same message?
They're getting ready to get rid of their signs.
But you didn't tell them that they had to get their signs out of here.
11 Christians were arrested that day, including 2 grandmothers. The group became known nationwide as the Philadelphia 11. And they would soon learn that sharing the gospel in public in Philadelphia was considered a hate crime.
Kept taking our pictures and fingerprints, and it was, the longer we were being held, I realized that we weren't getting out right away.
We were charged with 3 felonies and 5 misdemeanors, which could have put us away for 47 years in jail and $90,000 in fines each.
It was totally surreal. I mean, I just couldn't believe. It just seemed like unreal, the whole thing. But then to be charged with ethnic discrimination, I mean, this is absolutely absurd.
Well, the hate crime legislation is going to do away with our freedom of speech. And the churches don't realize it, but it's not going to just be for us who go out in the street and take a stand against it. but it's going to affect the churches.
This is, we believe, probably the first time, if not the only time, anybody has been charged with a hate crime where the instrument of the hate crime is, at least incidentally, a Bible. The whole movement towards creating national statewide hate crimes laws and national hate crimes laws is a really scary movement in this country. And anybody who has any belief in the First Amendment or even the things that made this country great ought to be really scared about this.
You know, it strengthens your faith in the Lord and what He can do for you. And we are going to face persecution. It's promised.
God has called us to love them, and we are there with the message of love, and that is that there is hope and freedom through Jesus Christ, that they can be set free from their sins. And that was what we were there to do. Nothing more, nothing less.
The case of the Philadelphia 11 is a chilling precursor to what we could face if hate crimes legislation is allowed to become the law of the land. A crime is a crime, but we're heading down a road where someone's perception about your motivations and deeply held convictions may get you arrested. Did you know that under these laws, the punishment would be greater for an assault on a 22-year-old homosexual man than for the same kind of an assault on an 85-year-old woman? Tristan Emanuel is the author of Christophobia, the real reason behind hate crime legislation. I had a chance to sit down with him to discuss this very important topic.
I think since the 60s, the church in Canada has been quite silent, predominantly on the issue of human sexuality. I haven't talked about it a lot, and when we do talk about it, we tend to talk about it in terms of protest, because we see what's happened in our culture. But having said that, it still has a chilling effect, because what already was a difficult situation where very few pastors were willing to speak, now that's just reinforced the fact that not only is it maybe not what I want to talk about, but it could get me into a lot of legal hot water as a result of being victimized by a law under the guise that this is promoting hatred through speech. And so most pastors don't want to spend time in the court. They don't want to be criminalized for basically sharing the love of Jesus Christ. And so we completely shy away from that legitimate avenue of discussion, morality, because it's now become politicized. It's politicized speech.
Then my sense is that that makes what's happening to the church, capital C, universal in Canada, even more threatening, because if they were silent pre the passage of this legislation, this will do nothing but further a chilling effect, which will silence pastors even more. The end result of that is you have a lackadaisical church. You've got the church in many respects at Laodicea.
Right. We have compartmentalized where the gospel is allowed to go. That's what we've done. We've embraced the constraints of political correctness, and as it were, imposed that upon the gospel, so that we're prepared to preach the gospel in the private sphere, and we're prepared to preach the gospel and share the good aspects of the gospel to everybody, but we shy away from the comprehensive nature of the gospel. What I'm getting at is, the gospel doesn't make sense if you don't establish the context for the gospel, i.e. sin and repentance. And there simply are things that people do that need to be repented of. And though it may be politically incorrect to say it, it needs to be said. Otherwise, the antidote, which is Jesus, doesn't make sense. I mean, fine, absolute free speech can sound pretty harsh. From a Christian perspective, my concern is, the whole idea behind the First Amendment was that no government should have the right to bind my conscience, nor the conscience of another individual. No government should have the right to decree doctrinal issues or to hem in issues as profound as human morality and marginalize what is essential for our foundation as a free and open society. We need morality in order to be free, and we need to have people to have the freedom to promote morality in the public square. Laws shouldn't be based on personal indiscretions. Laws should not be based on people's personal scruples or what they feel is odious. Laws need to be based on something much more tangible, much more absolute than just arbitrary opinion, even if that opinion happens to be representative of a lot of people.
Bible's against it, God's against it, I'm against it, and if you've got any sense, you're against it. I figured a way out, a way to get rid of all the lesbians and queers. Build a great, big, large fence, 150 or 100 mile long, put all the lesbians in there. Fly over and drop some food. Do the same thing with the queers and the homosexuals. And have that fence electrified till they can't get out. And you know what? In a few years they'll die out. Do you know why? They can't reproduce. If a man ever has a young'un, praise God, he'll be the first one. All of these. You can just well, amen. I'm going to preach the hell out of all of us. Amen. Hey, I tell you right now, somebody said, who you going to vote for? I ain't going to vote for a baby killer and a homosexual lover. Amen. You said, did you mean to say that? You better believe I did. God have mercy. It makes me puking sick to think about. I don't even know whether you ought to say this in the pulpit or not. Could you imagine kissing some man